Viewers across the world to the Mindset Spot. It is yet another great honor that we are here today to discuss a very critical discussion towards driving transformational development in the continent and the entire world. Today, we're going to discuss a topic that is very, very crucial for transformational development and actually for taking climate action. And this topic is social media. Just imagine a while ago, a couple of years back, there was no social media. The global average of time spent on social media today is 2.4 hours per day. Just imagine that. In some African countries, people spend more time, an average of up to 3.2 hours every day. As testament of prevalent social media use across Africa, at that, they use social media as an immediate mechanism for assessing and sharing information on COVID-19. 94.5% of them believe that social media was a worthy tool in getting information on the pandemic. So social media has been useful. Now, it is said that time is money. Yes, it is. When you spend your time on right things, you get dividend. Yes, time is money. And what we know is that money is only useful when invested optimally. The question, therefore, before us today is, when it comes to time spent on social media, are we, especially the young people across Africa and the entire world, are they getting their money's worth? Or is social media doing more harm than good to the youth of Africa and the world? Joining me for this exciting discussion today is Kini Anthony from Cameroon and Alusin Kamara from Freetown, Sierra Leone, to debunk and discuss this very important subject. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Dr. Richard.
Excellent. It's great to have you, Anthony, on the show. And Kamara, how are you?
I'm good, Doc. I'm doing well.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, let me start off with you, Anthony Kinney. You have argued that social media has done more harm than good, especially to the youth, because our social fabric, especially our cultural values that we grew up knowing, are gradually being dissipated today. Young people disrespecting elders, even what we used to know, that humility is actually what was nurtured when we were growing up today. What made you to say so, that social media has actually been a menace? Can you just maybe in 2 minutes articulate, and then I will get to Kamara to give his perspective.
Doctor. Good evening to all the viewers all over the world. Good evening to Mr. Alusun. Good evening, Doctor. Honestly, on my part, I sometimes wish that tools such as iPads, tools such as laptops, iPhones, they couldn't have even been invented. That's what I feel sometimes. This is because the use of these tools, which were initially thought of, had eventually changed the mentality. I mean, totally even changed the mentality of the youth, which has made them to lose all the values that we used to know. Now you see youths moving around, they don't even care. You talk to a youth on the road, he or she just passes even without greeting sometimes, because the person is on the phone manipulating. Sometimes they even go and fall on the pit. I think you've witnessed that sometimes. And I think that is actually something we have to work on to see how they can really improve on the activities, on their behavior.
You said something before I get to Kamara to counter with his point is, I mean, what you're saying is true. The advent of social media, despite the fact that it was well intended, is being misused. And so do you think that it is being abused as a result of the fact that people think this is free, or you think that the intent of making it was to do what it's doing today to our young people?
No. That's why I said the initial intention of it was was I don't know. The initial intention of it was to bring more good. But now what the youth of today have turned this social media to be like is actually damaging and destroying the youth of today. That's what I actually mean.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that perspective. I think I will move to Kamara now. Kamara, you've heard Kinney put across his points that social media is actually a menace, and that the intent was not wrong, but actually the way it's been embraced in the continent today is doing more harm than good. What's your take?
Well, for me, social media has created a lot of opportunities for us, the young people. It is a major platform to showcase our talent. It is a major platform we use to bring out what is in us. It is there we get motivational things that will inspire us to be great people in society. Social medias these days have done a great of good things than good. It is the fastest medium to use to get money. A lot of unemployed youth these days are employed in social media by creating pages where they do their business, their marketing, advertising their goods and services, and they make a lot of money through the internet. Social media play an important role in our lives. Nowadays, almost everyone is accustomed to social media. According to a Harvard studies, quarterly half population of the world are now in social media. For me, what's social media? Social media is the people. It's all about connecting us, the young people, so that we can be inspirational leaders for tomorrow. I think that's my open remarks.
Exactly. You heard Kinney said that people are using social media to manipulate others, and that somebody will sit somewhere and use either Facebook to be able, because there is now
The
easy
negative.
connection with other people, and so people now are using it for dubious reasons. Do you really think, because from your point of view, which is true, that the good of social media has connected people, and even us, we are connected today because of social media? But the broader argument is that the good intention of social media is not harnessed fully. That most of it, especially the young people in the continent today, are not tapping the full potential of that. And even when they do, it's done mostly for wrong reason. Do you agree with that school of thought?
No, partially I disagree with of some of his marks, because for me,
why do you say partially? So you answer your partial part and then answer the good, the bad.
it has its own good effect. It has its own good effect and negative effect. Though it's on the
Yeah,
negative side, I'm on the positive side to showcase the good of social media. For me, social media is a public good, especially
correct.
for us, the young people.
Correct. That is true. Now let me get back
Yeah.
to you, Kenny. You've heard him put his argument across that social media is a public good. Yes, it is a public good. Your argument is that yes, it is a public good, but the misuse of it is actually destroying society rather than making society to be stronger, and it's somehow making us lose the values and the cultural values that are so important now to address the challenges we face. You've listened to Alusin Kamara make his case. What is your point vis-a-vis what he has said?
Yeah, Doc. I think we all know it's not like we are doing imaginations here. Like 20 years ago, if you count back from 2022, just say 20 years ago, the behavior of youths was, was totally a different thing from what we have today. Totally a different thing. And in spite the fact that Mr. Allison said, social media has brought people, it has made people to communicate today. I don't know if he can tell me if years behind people could not communicate or what. Because I think even if you could write a letter to your brother who is in the United States, or who is, you are in Yaoundé and you write a letter to your brother who is in Douala, even if the letter could make 2 days, your brother could still receive that letter, which was something something awesome. Today, you sit, you just, a kind of, you can just have a problem with someone even, and because of social media, you just take your phone and you say, "Oh brother, I'm so sorry." Whereas while typing "I am so sorry," you are there laughing. Your brother, he will not even know whether what you are actually saying is just because you want to convince him, or is actually what is coming out from your mind. So I think the advent of social media was created with a good intention, but we have abused it. We have The youth have totally abused it, and it's being used for a wrong purpose today. That is why even on Facebook, like, you communicate with friends. Bad orientation, bad company. That's why now we don't even know what our children are like. You have a child in the house, you look at the child, you say this child is like this, is like that, but you don't know what that child is communicating or doing with the phone you have used your money to buy for the child.
You
So
have mentioned something before I get to Camara, and after that we'll take a break. But you are saying something here that I want to really dig down on. And the beauty of this discussion, for those of you who are watching, is we are not talking as abstraction here or fiction. We're talking about the reality.
the
And
reality.
Kamara is advancing his points based on his own experiences and his engagement with youth. And Anthony Kinney is advancing his point based on his own experience and reality with the youth. And back to you, Kinney, you are saying something that the advent of social media was to do good, not to do bad. But you have mentioned a very important point, which I think here that we need to debunk, that actually the attitudes of young people, and you indicated on your Facebook page when you were discussing this issue, you and Kamara, that when you finish, the values of youth in our society today, especially those espoused by youth, are completely different and have actually become worse today as a result of social media. So maybe you can just give some practical examples of what was before when you were in high school and what is now, that you can actually comfortably say that society is morally getting decay because of social media.
Yeah, thank you, Doc, for that question. I was in high school 2009. I was in high school 2009 when I had the advanced level. And then, you know, just just having a phone was, I don't know, was actually, if you had a phone, you were being looked upon like, I don't know, like the eye. Let me use that word. You were being sidelined, looked differently. And then I can't say at that time the advent of the phone or the social media was being abused the way it is being abused today. Why? Because then, when you had a phone, let me not talk about laptop, iPads and iPhones, because that's something different. When you had the phone then, it was purposely maybe to call, to text, right? But now, you see, children have phones nowadays, such that even the Minister of Secondary Education have authorized that children should take their phones to school. Can you just imagine that? That is creating laziness on the part of children. Children, they don't read their books any longer because, I don't know, there are photos that have been circulating on social media, sometimes you see a child with a phone on somewhere on the laps inside an examination class, which means that when the teacher asks, when the child opens even the question paper, she just like kind of peep on her laps and just ask social media or Google, what is this? What is this? What is this? Google will just like, this is what you are asking. And the child will just go on putting it on the paper. The examiner will take that paper, correct it, and maybe will give 95 on 100 to the child, not knowing that that child actually cheated before writing what she wrote or he wrote, not knowing what. I think you are getting my point. So it has actually
Yes.
created laziness and so many negative thoughts on the child, on the minds of the children, particularly the youth of today. That's my point.
Thank you very much for that, Kinney. Let me get to you, Kamara. You've heard what Antonia said. So
Yes, Doc.
the point is this, that social media fix a problem to communicate and to connect people, which is a good thing. Yet the way it's been embraced in the continent, of course, there are youth from what you are saying benefiting from this. Some youth are doing advertisements, some are becoming influencers, and so they're actually creating opportunities and jobs as a result of this. But however, there seems to be an element which is you fix one problem and then you spoil.
Create a
As
bigger
you're
one.
fixing it, you're having a trade-off. You fix, you spoil. So what is it? Phones connect people, but they are being used to perpetuate laziness. You gave the example of students. Instead of now, in nowadays, we could read and study and get to an exam room with something on our brains or on our heads. But now the cell phones are being used now to get into classrooms. And more so, the time spent on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, from what he is saying, is not spent to communicate solutions, climate solutions, or environmental solutions, or economic and business solutions. Is spent to abuse people or to con people. What do you agree with that perspective? And if not, why?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I can get you.
Okay. Okay, before this time, people were using the traditional method of communication. Like what King said, they were using letters, telephones. But with the new media now, social media, it makes it easier for communication to flow. It takes you faster and easier to get there. With social media, it tells that we are not alone on the planet. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you
We're
100%.
getting you. We're getting
Continue.
you.
Okay. It tells that we are not alone on the planet. And it creates a peer motivation that inspiring young people to develop healthier habits, try something new, follow their dreams, and speak about something that really matters to them. For me personally, I do my studies on social media. The best platforms I normally use to do my research, do my academic work, I normally use the platform.
Go
I
ahead,
normally
go
use
ahead, please.
YouTube or Google to search for materials. So it has changed my life a lot. What I cannot understand, when my lecturer will taught me, I will go to the internet and search. Over there, I will get something that will really fill me. So that's my submission.
Yes, before we go on break, I want to dig down, Kamara, on these points you have
Hello?
mentioned. Yes, we can hear you. Are you hearing me?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Doc, I'm there.
Okay.
I can get you.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yes. So this question is to you, Kamara. You have
I'm not
mentioned
getting
that-
you clearly.
Yes, but I can hear you. Let me just ask the question.
I can hear you.
Okay. Me too. I can hear you, but the voice is little bit dull.
I can get you. I
Okay.
can get
The question is that you have said that social media has actually brought peer to peer motivation. That's true. But this motivation sometimes is not positive. The motivation is about flashy things that do not exist being posted that cause
you. Yeah.
other young people to think that they can be able to
Imitation.
get it. And so that actually brings negative energy and
Yeah.
negative pressure on these young people. Do you agree that social media is doing more harm than good because anybody can post anything there, which is not real? It creates a bubble. In as much as the opportunities are there, as you said, you use it for studying, you use it for connecting with friends, that's fine. But can we just fairly say that the negatives that young people are using social media actually for wrong reasons is a true position? Over to you, Kamara.
Yeah. Even though I was not hearing you clearly, but I was getting some point.
Right.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
agree. There are some negative things on the internet these days. People post there, the cyberbullying, false news, but there are other important effects of the media, like what you are doing. You are always motivating us, the young people. That's why I follow you on Facebook,
Thank
because
you.
normally when I go to when I normally go online, I will watch your content. I say, oh, this man is really doing something good, so let me follow him. So I'm always current with your content, with your issues that you are posting on the media. I'm always in line with everything you post. So for me, that aspect, it has a positive aspect. What you are doing, I'm following you and I'm inspired. So that's the positive aspect of using social media. It has connects me and you. It has connect us. It's all about networking. Yes, I agree. People are doing bad on the internet these days, but it also has positive side that I'm bringing in.
No, that's fine. I get you, but I get your point.
Hello?
I know that you are on the side of social media has
Hello?
done good. And I think we all agree that social media has done good. But what the point I want to get your perspective is that despite the fact that social media has done good, the excesses of social media are that there is a lot of, if I may use this word, fakeness that is actually causing negative energy and negative peer pressure on the youth. So maybe let me get it back to you, Kini, because it looks like Kamara is having issues with his uh, uh, network. What is your take from what he is saying? Yes, it's done good, but at the end of the day, what we are saying is that it's not being leveraged to seize opportunities. For example, he has rightly said something here that at least he comes and read content that I post, but I believe other people post good content. But the question then is, how many people are posting good things every day that young people are looking after? Are they going there to look for how to get a Range Rover the next day, even when you have not worked? Because that's what is also propagating there. Instead of looking for solutions that can be able to turn challenges to opportunities and then uh, help create opportunities for them. What is your take to counter what he was saying?
Oh, yes, Doc. Thank you. What he said is not it's not totally wrong. There are some points there that he said. Yeah, it's true. Um, Through this Facebook, like he said, he's following all your posts that you put. The question is, how many people follow your posts? Those who do not have phones, those who do not have laptops, those who do not have iPads and iPhones, aren't they studying? Those who are in those villages in the suburbs, do they not study? Do they not still succeed in life? They do. That's my response. They do. Now, you made a point there. You made a point when you talked of fake lifestyle, when I talked of bad friends, when I talked of some youths who want to look at something that they've just seen in social media today, get up tomorrow in the morning and they ride in a Range Rover. Some even saying that doubling money. Some go right to the extent of hacking people's accounts. You get up one morning, you see so many Dr. Richards, and people will just be confused who you are, which is yours. That is hacking people's accounts. Some even go to the point of using the social media to go into people's mobile account and withdraw money. I mean, I think those are not things that we should encourage. I don't think that the old people that are doing these things in the days back, all these things weren't existing. But now they exist because the youth think that that advent of social media or of Facebook or of whatsoever is what is making them to make a fast living. I mean, they get up tomorrow, someone will just get up, start riding in the Range Rover. Like you see, bad companies through friends on Facebook, bad orientation. Hmm? You get to communicate with somebody today, you communicate maybe for a month, and the person will get up or you get up tomorrow. I have a very vivid example. My junior sister, that was sometime in 2015 or 2016 or so. She got in contact with this friend in Facebook. The friend claimed she was in Canada. They communicated, and at the end of the day, that friend said, "Okay, now I want to arrange with you. I make your papers, you come over, and we see how we can start hustling here." My sister, she was so excited then. She had to like take her little savings. She even had to borrow some money from friends around. And she made a passport. I mean, an express passport. I think you know what it means to make an express passport. It's not like now that it takes 24 hours to be out. Export passport then was about 200,000 or 250,000 francs. She did it. She had to go again to the airport. She sent it with money again, 75,000 francs, that it was to facilitate the process. But at the end of the day, what happened? When that passport went, the money went, the lady there received it, and that account, it never passed again. Huh? That is using this social media to dupe, to steal. And if we don't talk against all these things, people will not be aware. We have to create awareness in the minds of people, especially in the minds of youth, so that they should be very careful on who they interact with, on who they meet on social media. They start creating and accepting friend requests from and things like that. So that's my take about it.
No, I think you are bringing up a very important point. Before I go to Kamara, I want to ask this question. Maxed Desailly is watching and he's appreciating you guys. He said, "We are in the information age. Should social media be demonized because of the irresponsibility of individuals?" I think I will ask you this, Anthony Kinney, before I get to Kamara, because from what you are saying, these are realities. But what we need to differentiate here is that, and you did it already, that the intent of social media is a good thing and it is a blessing to the world. But it is
Totally.
also individuals who are misusing it rather than using it for opportunity. We're using it for dubious, or it's also causing laziness, as you said. It's making people to forget their responsibility, if I might put it that way. So if that is the case, and from what you are saying, what do you think, which two things practically needs to be done to actually ensure that at least we stop this runaway attitude? I call it runaway attitude because we are gradually losing the fabric of society, which is supposed to be values, values of respect, values of humility, values of diligence, values of hard work. We are losing this. Now that we are seeing them gradually being dissipated, and that's why we're having this conversation with all of you who are listening out there. Please share your ideas, share your questions, share your thoughts as we are having this conversation. And then, Kinney, if you can give two practical ways in which we can start to stop this runaway destruction of society through social media, I would like to get your thought. Then I'll move to Kamara and I'll ask the same question, and you can answer it from the perspective of his stance on social media is a good platform. Yes, Kinney, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Before I go to your question, I would like to answer. I would like to appreciate the person who have
To
reacted
Marcel
to.
Desailly. Yes.
Yeah, I would like to react to appreciate him, and I think that his question is directed to me. Yeah, social media should not be demonized. It shouldn't. The advent of social media was not intended to be what it is today. You will give birth to children. You can give birth to five children, and in those five children, four might be good example, exemplary children, and maybe one or two might be wayward. What do you do? I don't think at the end of the day you have to disown a child or you have to throw away the child because that child is disrespectful. No, I don't think so. What you have to do is to look into how you can make that child to see that what the child is doing is not what is going to lead a good life for him or for her. Now, um, I think what we have to do now, that is your question now. I think what we have to do is to create more awareness. Hmm? We have to create awareness on the minds of the youth by doing what? By bringing up more programs as such, hmm, so that we sensitize the youth, we talk to them, we interact with them, we make them to know that the advent of the social media has been has been abused. That is the first thing. We have to create awareness on the minds of the youth. Awareness
Like
is
what
the
we are
first
doing here
thing.
now.
Like what we
Yes,
are
like
doing
what we
here
are doing
now.
here now, which is
Yeah,
part of the awareness. Excellent.
yeah. Secondly, I think we have to we have to look into a way that we interact with the parents in our various local societies, even if it's not through mediums like this. We can even use the churches, we can use some of the schools, we can use some. There are so many ways we can do flyers and we distribute to the parents, particularly to the parents. Like they talk to their children, they they look into the age of the child before the responsibility of the child as well, before maybe having an Android phone for that child, the level of education for the child. This advent of phones particularly has spoiled the youth because some to even use phones without their parents even being aware. I think you can imagine that.
Right.
You
That is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
good point. That's a good
some
point. I think I'll go
yeah,
to Kamara. Thanks for those very pertinent points, Kini. I'll go to Kamara. Now, Kamara, the truth is this: um, the usage of social media seems, especially from what I see every day with young people, negative news seems to be good news. And that is why when an event is happening, you see people recording mostly the event to
the
post on social media
negative.
to get likes and to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
followers, rather than coming when you post how a youth is turning agricultural waste to fuel briquettes, you get 2 likes. But when it is negative news, it gets 1 million likes. Don't you think? I think Kamara is having issue with his connection, but I'll get back to you, Kinney, and then when he comes, we'll go there. So this attitude, how do you think this attitude can be reversed? Because it's a big issue. How do you think it can be reversed? The attitude, because it goes back to that point of, yes, social media should not be demonized. The users of it, especially individual responsibility, is where there is a gap. How do we make it in such a way that people become responsible and start to use these spaces to spread good news, to spread innovations by youth? Climate action is a disguised opportunity, and there are so many solutions across the continent. Solar dryers being made, briquettes being made, but when we share them, you get 2 likes. So what is the issue? Is it the issue of the youth, or it is the issue of the platform? Yes,
okay,
over to you,
okay.
Anthony.
The platform, to me, to the best of my knowledge, the platform is not the issue here. I think it is the issue of the youth. Yeah, I think it is the issue of the youth because um, due to the fact that the advent of the social media has been abused. Like you just said, when, for instance, an event is going on, um, the the good sides of that event, you hardly see them on social media. That is true. You hardly see them on social media. What do you see? You see just those parts that are having a negativity. Those parts that are having what people will like kind of have attention in. It's just what you are talking about, environment. Because when you talk about environmental hazards, when you talk about other things, people will just like kind of browse and pass, whereas that is actually what is going to help the environment. That's what is going to help life and nature. But now, when you just put something that is just, let me just say, a dance, everybody will come and watch, maybe make a comment
You have
before
actually
passing.
mentioned a dance. I think we'll take a break here with a dance. And then when we come back, we are going to focus on, because I think, thank you, Kini, from what you are saying, and Kamara, I think he's having connection issues, but we'll continue from the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media, because what you're saying is there is a certain attitude that has been developed around social media, which is that everybody wants to become an influencer. And what is this? They want to be popular. They want fame. And what I've always told people is to become famous is not the difficult part, but to stay famous is the most difficult part. And becoming famous for wrong reasons is the worst, because you will collapse the same way you rose up to that point.
You came, yeah.
And that is why this conversation today, for those who are listening in, is very, very important, because like we said, we are not demonizing social media, but we are talking about the responsibility of every individual to be able to leverage to use social media. And what is the issue that our youth, especially youth in the continent, who have so many opportunities that are disguised in challenges, are not leveraging social media to be able to tap those solutions? And don't get us wrong, some youth are doing so, and we applaud them, but the bulk of them are not doing so. They're using social media for negativity, for abusing people, for complaining, and actually sometimes for using it to settle scores, to embarrass people. And I think the reason we are having this conversation today with the young people who are using social media and explaining from their experience is very, very important. For those of you who are listening out there, please share your ideas, share your thoughts. Kini just mentioned about a dance, and I love dancing. So let's take a break with a dance. And this dance is going to be about a delicacy from where I come from. Kini comes from there as well. And Kamara would have actually talked about the dance that we could have put up. But for now, we're going to put up this dance. And we'll be right back. Yes, and we are right back. And I decided to put up a dance because Kini mentioned a dance, and these are some of the things that easily get attention on social media. A TikTok, 2-minute sound bites get a lot of attention. Dancing, doing things that sometimes are just for entertainment, seems to catch the attention of young people. Why is it so?
Okay, is it to me?
Yes, it's to you because we don't have Kamara yet back, but so all the questions now will be to you. It's a conversation, and I'll be
Yeah, yeah,
adding to
yeah.
it as you add. Yes.
Okay. So I think a dance is usually what calls the attention, what attracts the youths most especially because you know the youths of nowadays they adore leisure. That's what I can say.
Hmm.
Yeah, they really love leisure more than doing some, let me just say, some book work. Yeah. Here,
So
what do
yeah,
I mean?
you've said the adult leisure, and this is a very important point that I wanted to move to. There seems to be ease prioritized over effort and dedication. There seems to be some kind of uh, a belief that things are supposed to be done for people rather than people doing things for
For
themselves.
themselves.
There seems to be some kind of an attitude that someone owes you something, and therefore that person must do it because he has to do it. And that entitlement mentality seems to be cascading to the challenges we face. And I'll go back to say, yes, there are challenges. Let me go back to environmental challenges. We are under climate change. We see flooding, we see droughts. We have mothers who are depending on charcoal in our villages where we grew up, cutting trees to use charcoal. But in these are opportunities disguised that young people can actually be able to tap. And when you go to YouTube, you see these solutions there. You go to Facebook, they're shared. Like I said earlier, you have 2 likes or 3 likes. Even on YouTube, you have 3. That's okay. But when it is a story that is shared of negativity, of blackmail of others, it gets 1 million likes immediately. And I'll still go back to this point. And I think now there is this point that Mercedes he said that across the continent and even the globe, social media calls for higher levels of responsibility among parents and guidance to instill discipline to the young commensurate to the social media. I think you already touched on this, Anthony Kinney, from the perspective that uh, the young people who are given the gadgets, they are seizing these sites even without oversight. And so it then just allows them to think that that's how easy it is. But I think let's get to this one, which is that discussion on social media should not focus on the platforms. I think this is a comment he's making, but the content. Given the self-regulatory nature of this platform, those who misbehave on those platforms should be publicly shamed. So the question is, who should shame them? Yeah, because it's a space, anybody says anything, anybody interacts with you there today, he thinks that you and him are at par. He starts to abuse you, as you say, disagree with that facts, argue with that facts, and feel very excited, especially if what he or she is saying, people are applauding it. And that now goes to your point that we seem to be missing the rationale and the reason of these social spaces. They were to connect people to learn, to grow, to create their networks. And your network is your net worth, depending if it is valuable networks. So, like Mercedes is saying, who is then supposed to shame these people when they are the same ones who are there? So who is going to regulate the unregulated people? How about you?
It is quite, it's really quite unfortunate. Why do I say it's quite unfortunate is because he said these people should be shamed publicly. The question is, who should really shame them? That is the question that I don't know. The question that hangs on the air. Why do I say it hangs on the air? Because sometimes when you see a post on social media, a post you think is not actually supposed to be, or to exist, or to even be put up. Sometimes when you put up an educative comment, just the kind of reactions that comes in under your comment, they are such that if you don't really have a cool heart, you might also tend to respond harshly. At the end of the day, you will become two fools because no one will learn from another person. Now, how do we shame them? when you see such comments, when you see such posts, if you are an educated and or an intellectual, just put up what you know is going to educate under those comments. When you put it up, close your eyes to whatever replies people might give to you under that comment. Why? Because if you want to respond to those replies, like I rarely said, at the end of the day, no one will teach the other person. So I think we just have to put up a positive a positive behavior to the public. Yeah, we just try to do our best, because simple truth is you can never educate the whole world through social media. Just try to do what you know is
I
good.
like that.
Just try
I
to
like
educate.
I like that point that you should try to do your best. That means that each and every one of us should become the living examples, the benchmark
Yeah,
for others to emulate. If
that is
others
it.
are abusing others on social media, it become your endeavor, your responsibility to be the example that you will not abuse people. You go there to share ideas, to share solutions, to inspire one another, so that at least the young people can start to see that at least what they were doing is not right, and that abusing people and starting to think that you are at par with them is not right. And this is the best way. Why I'm discussing this before I get to Kamara, I'm glad you're back. Kamara, welcome back. Is that the
Yeah,
solutions to the problems we face in the continent will not come through only the hard part. They will come through the soft part. What do I mean by the soft part? By changing people's mindsets. And one of the easiest way, I call it easiest, is to leverage platforms like social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, to communicate how these platforms meant for good are becoming tools for destruction. Destructions in terms of character, destructions in terms of making people lose to understand that without hard work, you cannot succeed. That without dedication and enduring short-term pain, you cannot be able to actually succeed. But somehow there seems to be this, which something which I've never understood. I would like you guys to tell me this. Negative news and lies seems to be picked up and believed on social media more than the truth. You tell somebody, a young person, you have to retool your skill to be relevant in the society. He said, wait till they talk. Now that one will chop. But when they tell them, oh, don't do anything tomorrow, you'll be a billionaire. Oh, yeah, I will be the billionaire tomorrow. So let me, before I get to you, Kamara, let me get back to you. Why is it so? Why are lies being accepted and believed more than truth on this species?
Um, I think there's something we call the law of. I don't know if I should say the law of nature. I don't know if I say the law of nature, it would be an overstatement, but I think I should use that word. You know, like they usually say, you can do nine good things or 99 good things to someone, to your brother, to your sister, maybe to a very close friend. And those things will be well appreciated. But the day you do just one bad thing, you know, all the good things that you used to do, they will be looked down on, and you become totally a bad person. I think that's just what is happening here. Because in spite all the awareness, in spite all the sensitization that we are trying to do, people are looking down on them. But when you just like now, if you were maybe I don't know, if you were trying to show a dance on this platform, I believe we could have had so
Yeah,
many
1 million
comments
people will be
here.
watching.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
million people
But
will be watching.
now that it's an educative talk, people are, I mean, somebody will really see life, but will not like kind of have time. What are they even talking about? What are they even talking about? But whereas that is what is going to give some sense into the score of that person. Yeah, so to me, I think it's just the law of nature that humans tend to behave like that. And to change it is just a mentality. You should just say to yourself that now I'm going to have a positive mindset. Yeah, because when you have a positive mindset, you are definitely going to
Exactly.
know what. Yeah. So
what
that's
you
what
have
I
said
think.
is very, very important. I'll ask you this question, Kamara, and please, I would like to get your thoughts. Good news is not good news on social media spaces. Bad news seems to be taken up faster by those on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and that has made the youth to seemingly want to be that popular because the more trends and like you have, it seems to make you feel you are on seventh heaven, which is a false narrative. Which is a false narrative. Why is it so? I want to get your perspective, Kamara. Why is it so?
Yes, Doc. Apologies earlier when I went
No, that's
off.
fine. That's fine. That's the beauty of social media. You can exit and come back. So it's the
Yeah,
positive of it.
yeah. Now to your question, even with the traditional media, prior to this time, people were spreading bad news faster than good news. Well, if you take, for example, the Al Jazeera, the BBC, even though the good news in Africa are there, they don't go for the good news. They go for the bad news to spread the bad news so that the world, because bad news go faster than good news. The same with the new media now, the social media.
No, let me
Now the
just
social
intervene here. Kamara, let me just intervene. You said that media spread bad news, and it goes. Give example of the bad news spread by
faster than
media.
the good news.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Even now with the new media, the social media, yes, bad news can be spread widely so fast than the good news because people like to spread bad news. People want to hear bad news. So that's why you find out that bad news go faster than the good news. With bad news, you are there. Before something happen over there, if it is a good thing, it will take time to go. But as long as it's bad thing, it go wide and far. And nowadays, with technology, everybody's accustomed to social media with our mobile phones in our hands. Immediately, anything happen, everyone is a journalist. People
Yeah,
just
Kamara, you have said. Let me come in here. I want you to, because what you are saying together with Anthony Kinney is clearly linked to what Mark said. Desai is saying here. He's saying that social media exposes the ills of society, the fallen nature of humans, the bad attitudes we see on social media today have existed all along, but there was no venting channel that social media now provides. So, are you saying, from what you are saying, that there has been this vitriolic behavior, but it was just lack of space for it now to be exposed, and that this platform has just now given that opportunity for people to do so? But you are also saying that even media spreads bad news, but there's also good news that is spread, right? We are here discussing good news on media, social media, yeah. So I would like to continue. I just wanted to bring this perspective so that so what is the way out? I want you to also provide what is the way out, especially for our young people across the continent today, because they want to be rock stars and superstars overnight. And social media has provided that platform, but there seems to be no education like we're doing here. That look, social media is good if you use it to communicate solutions, if you use it to inspire your brother and your sisters, you are our brothers and sisters, to do something to build their skill, not only showcasing affluence, standing in front of what has been taking years to do and making it as if it was done just the next day. So there's that false pretense. How do we debunk that false pretense among our youth? Kamara.
well, how do we debunk that false pretense among our youth? Like what you are doing. I love what you are doing. You are always on media inspiring us, the young people, to do good, to change our lives. You are really inspiring us with something impactful in our lives. You are teaching us uh, uh, ambassadors, innovative volunteerism actors. You are really doing something well for some of us who are well focused minded, we look up to you and we are inspired. So thank you so much. So the solutions, we all have a responsibility to spread. We all have the responsibility to continue to spread the good news about social media. So tell young people that, oh, come, this is the good use of social media. Stop misusing it. What you are doing is bad. So come out of that bad and see the good and positive side of social media, so that you can transform your life and you can give back to your society. Your society can benefit from what you have gained through social media.
Exactly. As you are speaking, I think James Olusola, the president of Ibabosan, Nigeria, has just said social media has both negative and positive influence, but it depends on individual. Yes, you guys have said this. I think Ninin Timneng is saying that social media has done more harm than good, especially to the youth. So he's saying what Anthony Kinney is saying. That is great. Kamara, before I go to Anthony, because he addressed some aspects while you were having difficulties with connection. I think this point I'm getting to now is very, very important. To the youth of Sierra Leone, where you are at the moment, what would you tell them to do differently to be able to seize opportunities, especially environmental opportunities that are existing on tap? Plastics, pollution everywhere. We see it every day. Solutions on the internet, and especially these connections on Twitter, on LinkedIn. We are seeing people who are dealing with this. Instead of using time to engage those people, they're trying to trend on negative things. What message will you really give those youth of Sierra Leone and the youth of Africa? What would you tell them now that you are on this platform and millions are viewing what you are saying?
I will tell my fellow youth, my fellow young people, that we need to take responsibility. We need to come together to work in harmony, so that we can use social media positively, judiciously, to do good things, to create awareness, to be innovative, so that we can be inspired by following people like you and others. We have good people in social media who are using the platform positively to impact knowledge in us, the youth. So I will advise my fellow youth to always stay focused, follow good things on social media, and stop doing bad. That's my message this evening.
Wonderful. So as you are speaking now, I'll still go down that before I connect to Anthony. There are some who are watching at the moment and saying, wait till they talk. I will use Pidgin English because all we understand Pidgin English. Wait till them they talk. The devil they talk. We need for make money like yesterday. We did talk with the chop social, with the chop that talk. Where do you go tell them for Pidgin English?
Okay. Well, I would tell them, say, the Yahoo business, not to anything we find. So make them left the fake business na social media. Make them focus and do the correct
So that
thing.
one, I wish fake business you do talk. So now which fake business you do say make deliver? Make you name them now. I see Anthony is smiling.
The devious
Yes,
act,
go ahead.
the devious acts, bullying people, doing Yahoo, stealing people through the internet, try to outsmart people through the internet. So now that I they try for talk about.
No, thank you very much. I think you guys are bringing. This is a very difficult topic, to be very honest. I want to appreciate you and Anthony for taking on this. Honestly speaking, I have followed youth activity across the continent, and I am a strong believer in Africa's transformation led by young people. They are energetic, they are passionate, they are innovative, they are entrepreneurial, and there is absolutely no way that the challenges of Africa will be solved without putting youth at the center. Anybody who says this otherwise is lying. The young people are actually the solution providers to the challenges we face. But there is also the other side,
Sure.
which I think seems to be missing. The focus on youth engagement in action seems to focus on the hard part. Oh, they need to be sitting in boardrooms. That's fine. They need to be sitting in boardrooms. Yet they need to be part of decision making. Fine. They need to be part of decision making. But there is a seemingly, the oblivious thinking that if we forget mindset change soft aspect of making sure that we inspire youth to develop passion within them and to know what is right and what is wrong, especially in this social media space. If we ignore that, we might actually be losing the biggest asset that these young people do have, which is values. And why I'm bringing this aspect of values, because I want to bring a question from this perspective so we discuss, is that when you are not humble, you cannot be able to take instruction. And one of the things I've learned throughout my entire life is that without loyalty to instruction, you cannot be able to progress. Because mentorship is through guidance, through instruction. And what is instruction? This is how you can do it. When you refuse to do it, then you fail. And I always tell people that the easiest formula is to succeed. To succeed, you need only a few things: follow guidance, put in effort, develop passion, and be loyal and be self. Because without loyalty, you cannot be self. You cannot develop self-discipline.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, my question to you, Anthony, is: with that loyalty, you cannot develop self-discipline. With what we see on social media, there seems to be no big brother, so to speak. And I use big brother in quote. Somebody will shout and say, "Hey guys, it's time to apply emergency brakes and do right." Given that there is no big brother, so to speak, have we lost it? And if so, how do we get ourselves out of the deep hole that we have dug ourselves into?
Yes, doctor. Given that there is no big brother, it doesn't totally mean we have lost it, because we have, in spite the negative things that we have on social media, if more awareness is being created, if more sensitization is being exercised, I think we are going to conquer it. And if the mindset of the youth, if we succeed to change the mindset of the youth, I think at the end of the day, we are going to be victorious. Why? Because they are going to know now that, A, if I do this at the end of the day, it's going to benefit me this way. If I do that at the end of the day, I'm going to lose it. So what we need to do is to create more awareness, to give more sensitization. Like I earlier said, when Mr. Allison was having network issues, we can sensitize even through the parents. We can sensitize in our various societies, in our various localities. We make flyers, we give out, we go to schools, we go to churches, we try to talk to the parents, we try to talk to the youth. We can even organize conventions and we talk to them. This way, you can become a big brother in your own way. It's true, everybody can never get what you are saying, but the few that can get it will definitely have a benefit at the end of the day. That is just it.
Doc, Doc, we are not hearing you.
Okay, it's
Doc,
okay, it's okay.
we are not-
Yes,
It's
what I
okay.
was saying is, given the fact that most of the youth love leisure over offering value, how are we going to convince them to leave this? Yes, I'll go to Kamara. How are we going to convince them?
I didn't hear you.
Did you hear me, Anthony? You go ahead.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, given the fact that the youths actually love leisure, other than educative talks like this. What we can do to convince them, like you said, let's just take for example, I like to use the word dance.
That's right.
You said something about dancing, and you said you love dancing. You know, there are dances that are educative, there are sketches, there are dramas that are educative. We can look for a means that we do some little sketches that we put on social media. We know that's what is definitely going to attract the attention of the youth. As they look at those sketches, they are going to be educated. Something is going to get into their minds. And at the end of the day, through those sketches, maybe they were just watching for fun. At the end of the day, they are definitely going to have a lesson from what they just watched. So I think that is those are some of the ways that we can try to to use the play method to to give out knowledge.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. And just for those who are watching, social media has brought the good, the bad, and the ugly. And to those who are there inspiring others every day, we say felicitation, congratulations. And for those who are there spurring negativity, the discussion today is to dissuade you to start inspiring others so that they can do right. Kamara, can you hear me? And if you can hear me, my question to you is that social media, as we are discussing, is a tool for good. So the solutions for climate change that are being showcased there every day, why are you not picking it up? And what should we do so that they can start picking up those solutions?
Well, what should we do? We need to call them on board. Try to preach messages continuously. We don't relent. Continuously. Though you have been doing it, others have been doing it. Consistency. Preaching the message that I will take the part of agriculture, the youth of Africa, especially Africa, so that we can grow what we eat. I will take the message of agriculture, preaching it to my fellow young people, telling them, oh, agriculture has a lot of money, a lot of opportunities are hidden there. Come on board, let's come and work. Let's be hardworking. We are the able-bodied men. Let's work so that we can build our continent, so that we can build Africa. This is my message to them, and not only me. We all have a responsibility to tell them about our environment, like what you have always preaching, the environment, climate change, agriculture. So I will tell my fellow youths to look at this part at something very important, and so that they can take responsibility and be successful and have a lot of money in their pocket.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kamara. You brought up a very important point. Now we have to start running up, but I had wanted to ask all of you this point. We are now in a continent, as we currently speak, most of the countries are struggling with inflation. There are increased fuel prices and increased food prices. This is putting a lot of families not only under duress, but a lot of people are struggling, and they do not have enough food to eat. Neither do they have more money in their pockets. Because of the Russian-Ukraine war, where African countries import more than 50% of wheat, this was affected. But when you look at the African continent today, cassava that we know is Africa's goal and consumed over by 500 million Africans. I have not heard any single youth group, and I stand corrected, discuss cassava as an alternative for Africa on social media to be able to pick it up. They have focused on things sometimes that you will ask yourself, do we not have priorities? And now that you've talked about agriculture, cassava can produce 300 products. Why is social media not used by youth to perpetuate these opportunities that exist in agriculture, and especially on this magic golden crop called cassava that everybody can be part of? Why? Let me hear your perspectives, and then I move to me on this. So it goes back to the point that social media spaces are used for wrong reasons, not for good reasons, most of the time. Kamarad, over to you.
Yeah, because a lot of youth are lazy these days. They don't want to do anything. And agriculture, you need to be that strong. You need to be hardworking. You can't be sleeping or you can't be sleeping and you want a food on your table. It doesn't work like that. You need to get up and work. And agriculture needs work. When you work, we reap the benefits. When you sort a seed, it grows, and when it grows, you benefit from it. So that's it, short and precise.
Yeah, that's it. I am, before I move to you, Anthony, there is Kini Amy. I think she's in the house. Amy, we can see you. Are you ready to give your point on? You have said that this is an interesting topic. Social media, though a tough, necessary evil, has brainwashed, especially the youth. Parents and guidance have a lot to do to curb the ills social media has created, especially in the young people. What do you have to say, Amy?
But really, I listened to the topic and it's very interesting. Social media, yeah, it's necessary, but with the way the young minds, the young Cameroonians, the young people around the world have embraced it, the way they use it, it is so abusive in a way that the parents and guardians don't sit up to follow up their children, to censor the gadgets they give the children if they must give, which I think they shouldn't, to limit the use of internet in their homes. in the next decade we are finished.
Yeah,
Really.
why do you said, yes, you said in the next decade we are finished. So it means we are actually on a dangerous path and time is not on our side. What do you think
Very
can
dangerous.
be done now? Yeah, what can be done immediately now, to which kind of emergency breaks can be applied now to stop this runaway? I mean, social media is actually, it's running faster than people can imagine. What can you tell the youth to do practically so that we can stop and actually avert this crisis we are under?
Doc, you see, it's difficult for me to address the youth because I
Because you're also a
always
youth.
take it. I'm a youth, so I always take it to the parents. Anyway, I'm a youth and I'm a parent at the same time. But I always
Correct.
take it to the parents. Parents need to be alert. Parents and teachers, they need to be alert. They need to be on guard, because the moment your little child picks up your phone from the house, they will touch YouTube. Before you know, you don't know what they watch, you don't know what they consume. So I'm talking to the parents and I'm talking like a parent. It is alarming and the social media can crumble us if we don't follow up. So the children have a little to say to them. They don't have minds. Children easily copy what is wrong. A child will pick up your phone and will not touch a gospel channels or something. They would touch, they might see somebody who is naked. That is what they want to watch. That's what they're curious about. They might see somebody shooting another with a gun. That's what they're curious and that's what they want to watch. So parents should be on guard. There is a way they can control internet in their homes. There is a way they can, there is some app, parental guidance or what? Something
Exactly.
on, yes.
I think
Yes.
you have brought up very good points, and I think I'm going to ask Anthony and Kamara this. But before I ask them, I want to put this to you. Yes, because we have the young ones who are still with their parents, but we also have those who are in university and
Yes.
they're on their own. And
Yeah.
so how do you control those? And how do you, because before you came on, what we were saying was we have an unpoliced, unregulated space where everybody feels he is on top of the world and says anything he wants. And what you have said is very important, because we were discussing
that has become so cheap.
Yeah, negative news. Everybody wants to trend. Everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants to be up there. And those things that make people have many likes are negative. Like you rightly said, somebody comes there with blackmail on another. Oh, you see a lot of people commenting negativity, complaining, blaming others. So what I want to hear from you is just what two things need to be done, not only for young people, but I've also seen people who are supposed to be mentors and guiding actually posting things that actually spread negativity and incite you to think that this is the truth, which is not true. So what do you think needs to be done both for young people and the old people? And the old
The lines
elderly
are not
people,
very good.
yeah, to make a difference. After that, I'll go to you, Kamara, and then come to Kini, and then we run up.
The lines are not very good. I didn't get that. I didn't get that very clearly.
Yes, so let me say, what do you think can be done to ensure that the young and the elderly can use social media responsibly?
That's a very, very challenging question. What can be done? I think the harm is getting serious. And what can really be done? I don't know if we have that technology, Doc, really. Because to me, I think that what should be done, we can limit.
Yeah, maybe let me put it this way.
Yeah.
All the young, because I think it's not just the young people who are going to social media. They're not communicating. Most of them don't communicate solutions. The old people, the elderly people, they all still go there. You see a lot of them communicating negativity. So what they and Kamara said and Tony said was that we should become benchmark of excellence in terms of what we do on social media so that others can start to get inspired and follow us. And that even when people abuse you or do anything, you don't follow them. You start to show that no, hey, there is some dignity that even if you don't have it, you can learn. People need to start becoming examples of what they want to see. And so that is the way to go. So I think that's what they propose, and I fully agree. And I think one of the things that I want to add is actually the fact that there have been very little discussion on the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media has also allowed a space to just be on autopilot. And that is why we're having this conversation today, so that at least we can show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think the young men have been doing amazing. Kamara and Anthony have been doing amazing work here. Yes. So that is it. But your last word on this before I move to Kamara and then I move to Kini. What would you say to those who are listening and they are young and those who are also elderly? What should they do tonight, starting tonight, or if it is daytime, their time? What should they do starting today to start to create some sanity in any social media space they use? TikTok, you go to TikTok, actually the elderly people who are putting videos there. Not even young people. The young people are fewer. You go to Instagram, they say, and this means that it is something that is affecting a lot of people that we need to address. So what would you say? What's your last word?
Doug, what I would say to the young people, we have to develop a sense of responsibility. We have to behave like youths who are morally upright. Yes, we have to give credit to the parents who raised us, because anybody that was well raised will censor what they post on social media, will know what to say to the other person, will not pull others around, will not insult others because they are having data in their phone. So what I can say is just for the youth to be people of integrity. Before they put something across on social media, they should actually reflect, who am I addressing? How is this person going to feel about what I'm saying? Just because I'm away from the person, because the person is in America and I'm in Cameroon, I should not insult because I think the person cannot fly here to beat me. Yes. So we have to develop the sense of responsibility. We have to be morally upright. We have to behave like Christians, like Christians who have a mind. We should not just behave like Christians, but Christians who have a mind and a conscience. If we start looking at things this way, we'll not only respect the way we put things across on social media, we will even learn how to communicate better to the people around us. So
No,
I
that
would
is a
just
very
say
good
that we
point.
have to be
So that,
responsible. Yes.
yeah, that's a very good point. We have to be responsible. And you've mentioned institutions, Christian institutions, Catholic, Presbyterian, mosque, schools. Why are they not being used to perpetuate these aspects we are mentioning here? These are institutions that bring every facet of society together. So, do you think that institutions are not doing enough?
I seriously think so.
Okay,
I think we are not
perfect.
doing. I think we're not doing enough yet. We have not done enough yet.
Yeah, thank you. No,
We're
thank
not
you very
doing
much,
enough.
Amy. Thanks for this contribution. I really appreciate you for joining in. Appreciate. Now over to you,
Thank.
Amara. You've heard Amy say that enough is not being done. So how do we move from today, leveraging what we've heard and learned from here, to ensure that at least we can be able to have um, institutions, whether it is religious institutions, academic institutions, even communities, groups that young people belong to, start to discuss social media from an opportunity perspective and start also to showcase the ills of it that are destroying the fabric of our society. What three things will you leave your audience and your last word? Kamara. Yeah, it looks
First of
like
all,
Kamara can.
true sense
Yes,
of
go ahead, Kamara.
the media. Yeah, I'm getting you. Hello? Am I?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Am I in? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, 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 yeah. We
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay, okay. It's that we can, the media needs censorship of the media. Censorship of the media. Then we as young people to serve as ambassadors to preach good messages to our fellow youth, to our young ones, and even the elderly. Like you said earlier, when you go to TikTok, you see the elderly are not really behaving the way they should behave. They are not sending any positive message to their children, to the youths of these days. They are just doing something unwanted, uncalled for. So my message to us, the youth, not only the youth, to our parents, we need to raise more awareness, raising around ourselves, not only around ourselves, going outside, spreading the message of good, the message of progressive towards social media, so that we can really, really use social media deliciously.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much for that. And you, Mr. Kinney, what is your take with the fact that social media is an opportunity to inspire young people, different solutions, especially climate action solutions? These are opportunities that what millions of dollars if you just use the space to learn a skill and do something. Most of what we are discussing is that a lot of them are not doing that. So tonight, what would you tell them so that at least this space become an opportunity in disguise?
Yes, Doc. Thank you for that question. I think we have we have created awareness to those who have followed this program already, and he or she who have been following this program from the beginning till now must have had some good lessons. That is already a positive impact in the first place. But then there are some pertinent points that I think we should reiterate on in order to sensitize the public more. What do I mean by this? We should try in as much as possible, especially the youth, to be intentional when we are on social media. What do I mean by being intentional? You know, you should not just take your phone, you put on your data, you start pushing the screen up, pushing the screen down, and reading whatever thing you see. Be intentional. If you want to look for the meaning of something, go straight to what you want to look. Find out the information you wanted to find out, and then you become educated on what you wanted to do. Secondly, we have to try in as much as possible to focus on our real life friends when we are on social media. What do I mean by focus on our real life friends? Don't just see any friend request and you just accept. There are friend requests that you accept, and at the end of the day, they implicate your life. It's been happening to many. So we should try in as much as possible to be aware of that. We should focus on our friends that receive requests from people we don't time on our phones, scrolling our phones. We have to follow only the people and pages that are educative to us. We should not just follow a
Excellent.
page because we want to have entertainment, or because we want to have fun, or because we want to relax during leisure. We should try to follow educative pages, pages that are going to help you to have a job. If you go to school and at the end of the day you don't even have a job, but you are able to interact positively with the society, I think it's already a benefit to you from someone who is just in the quarters that have never gone to school. I think that those are some of the things that we have to make the youth to to be aware of. We should try in as much as possible not to use the phones during our bedtimes. At times, you disturb your sleep in the night. Maybe this goes specially to students watching movies, watching what I don't even know how I can say. And the next morning, you see a child at about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the classroom sleeping very seriously. I'm talking from a teacher's point of view. And when you ask the child, why are you sleeping? The child can never ever tell you the truth. That is it. Because he or she spent the whole night perhaps watching Melin, watching whatever I don't know the name. At the end of the day, it's going to impact the child so negative that the child will not be able to study. And at the end of the day, the child will spend your hard-earned money repeating a class over and over and over. And you begin to ask yourself, has my child been cursed? Whereas the child is the problem. So these are some of the things that we have to sensitize the public, especially the youth, to learn to avoid and limit, such that at the end of the day, it will create a positive impact on their mindset, on their behaviors. That's what I think.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamara, Mr. Kinney, Emmy. It's been a very, very great discussion, as you've heard. The make or break of social media, especially within the fabric of our society, where values that were cherished, values of respect, values of humility, values of hard work, values of dedication and adherence to guidance are gradually being dissipated because the space of social media, which is a very important space for people to share ideas, to create networks, is fast becoming an arena where what is not to be accepted is accepted, where abnormality is being normalized. You've heard from Kamara and from Mr. Kinney and Emmy digest these issues like no other people could have done it better than them, explaining exactly what we need to do. And the first thing we need to do is to become responsible citizens of the globe. We need to become responsible citizens. And anytime you open that app, whether it is Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, the first thing that should be on your mind anytime should be to communicate positive ideas, should be to communicate positivity, should be to communicate what can inspire one another, should be to communicate solutions. Anything less than this, you'll be failing society, you'll be failing your family, and you'll be failing your friends. Thank you very much for tuning in. Until then, It's the Mindset Spot. Next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for the